going on, everybody? Welcome to the Alex Cuesta Show. How's everybody doing out there on this Wednesday, June 7th of 2023? Before we get into all the fun stuff, like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5 stars on Spotify and iTunes. Spread this word of mouth and go find us on the socials at the Alex Cuesta Show. Just go look us up. We'll be there. And right now, the world seems to be on fire. And just like the world, this show is on fire because David is back again. David, hi.
Hi. Hello. I'm still in the middle of the big things I was talking about last week. I'm still working on getting that done.
Huge.
Hopefully it's done soon enough and I can come out to the world. You know, it's a proper month to that.
Yeah, it's like, everyone's celebrating Noah's Ark of the Covenant with God. It's odd that they choose one of the 7 deadly sins to talk about all the time. But, it's just really cool to see a bunch of people embracing God now. It's a great month. It's always a good time to embrace God. So love the rainbow, Ark of the Covenant, baby. Anyway, so we're gonna get going. We're gonna have a great show. Last week's show was just David and I talking about a whole bunch of stuff. If you're not tired of us yet, go back and give that show a listen. But this week we have somebody on that David and I know very well. Somebody that bitched at me that he wasn't invited on the show, when I'll say it straight up, this motherfucker is always invited, has been on my older shows multiple times, and for some reason thought that we needed to roll out a red carpet to invite him to come on the show.
Wow.
Because now he finally, out of every one of us, we're all trying to sit here and make it in media. This one's starting to make it in media, so I guess he needs to be big shot here. He's Colton Gesser, producer for CBS Sports Radio. What's up, Bolty boy?
What's up? And that's baloney. I'm just not going to be that guy like, hey, I work in New York City, man. I work for CBS Sports Radio. I work for Odyssey. I'm starting to work at WFAN now, doing stuff there. I'm not going to be like, yeah, big shot. I'm coming on your show because you need me. Nah, I'm not jumping. This is your show. You freaking had Michelle Tafoya on the show. Yeah, you invite me as you please. I wasn't jumping on, so no red carpet needed. Just was shocked I didn't get the invite. I was like,
No, it's more of like...
Well, as Geno Smith said, I'm keeping notes, but I'm not back. Freaking Dan,
here's the thing.
What's going on here?
You butchered that. Maybe that's why we don't have you on.
I don't know what he actually said.
God. They wrote me off. Too bad I didn't write back. Please.
Dave, this is why you're here, Dave.
It honestly is the only reason why David.
Dave's here.
But inside baseball, we're all in a group chat every single day, and we interact every day. There is ample time for Colton to just be like, hey dude, what's up? I got something to say. You trying to have me on soon? And no, that's as simple as that. It's like, yeah, come on. So no, Colton, you do not get a pass here. You could have been on anytime you wanted, but we're going to
whenever you guys need me, man. I'm always around. Whenever you guys need me, I can jump on.
We always need a little bit of Colton here, but
doesn't everyone need a little bit of Colton? I think everyone.
But
hey,
the world is currently on fire, and as in the world, I mean Canada. Yeah, I said Canada. Canada sounds terrible. Canada is currently on fire. It was started over in Western Canada. It's been sliding along, and that's not even the story, because whatever Canada's on fire, it's Sodom and Gomorrah. Let them be there. It's affecting me in New York and parts of New Jersey. And it sucks because it's smoky and hazy, and we don't like it. Dave, are you affected by the fire at all in Virginia?
Yes, actually, the town, because I work for a town, they sent out an email across our work emails saying that the air quality is not great. So just notice that. And it does look actually like you could see it like a little bit kind of ashy and foggy, like a little bit. It's not like the pictures from New York City. Not like that. Not
it doesn't
that
look like
crazy.
Gotham City.
No, it doesn't look like that. But there is definitely like a little bit of an effect here still.
So I'll ask both of you this, because randomly I'm looking on my phone and I always use it like to check the temperature and stuff. And all of a sudden out of nowhere, I see this red dot, a number, and it says air quality index. Now, I don't know what the fuck this number means. It was randomly sitting there. It's like 155 air quality index. I'm like, out of what scale? What is this telling me? So I click on it. And of course, the app is retarded. And it's just like, it just tells me what it is again. It's like, this is bad. Why is this bad? Tell me what this index means. Obviously, it's hazy outside. But what does this mean? So, of course, I had to use the Google machine. And I found out it's on a scale of 0 to 500. Who the hell makes this stuff? 0 to 500, like 0 to 50, like you're good. Then 50 to 100, it's like, oh, pretty bad. And 100 to 150, it's like unhealthy. And like that's their like scientific label, unhealthy. And then from like 150 to 201 or something, or 200, it's like severely unhealthy. And then beyond that, it's like hazardous. So it's like it's a stupid scale. Did any of you guys get that? It popped up on your phone. It popped up on my Google Pixel. It's like random number air quality index. Like I'm supposed to know what that means.
I did not.
It's a Google Pixel thing. iPhone, you can care less. You can burn and die for all they can. There's gonna be someone else to purchase an iPhone.
iPhone is they were trying to kill half their users by sending them all for bridges for like a solid half a year.
That's true.
with Apple Maps. So I am pretty much I'm on board that they just hate their people. But Bolt, how has it been over by you back at home in Jersey? I know Jackson, New Jersey is also on fire. Have they gotten that under control?
Yeah, I think a lot of the smoke and stuff, because it is awful here. Just got done playing basketball earlier today. Wasn't pleasant, but hey, I'm enjoying the weather as I can, because working in New York, I don't have a lot of time for basketball at times. So if it's a nice day and it's sunny, I'm going, even if it's 156 on the air quality range. But I got to tell you, New York looks terrifying. I'm so thankful I haven't been in New York the past few days. Like I'm there Sunday and it should be good by Sunday is what they're saying. But like, holy crap, I'm very glad I am not in New York the past few days.
I'll tell you this. So yesterday was worse. Like today, the smell was worse and the air quality index apparently was worse, I guess. But I still don't know what the fuck it means. But it was like worse today. But yesterday when it got to like the dusk area, it was like rainy all day yesterday. So it was like added darkness. And all of a sudden, like midday, I look outside and I don't know if anyone remembers the movie Constantine with Keanu Reeves, where it's like the demons all start to come out and it starts to get dark and he has to run under the light.
I haven't watched that in a long time, but I'm slightly remembering that, yes.
Yeah, he like pulls Rachel Weisz, like the actress, under the lamp so they couldn't get like attacked by demons. And then he like does a little exorcist thing with the light. But that's exactly what it reminded me of. I'm like, God is smithing us. Like, we're fucked. Like, that's it. We've sinned too many times. He hates us. Like, this is it. Like, I'm convinced it's actually the second coming, and we're all about to be judged. So you guys better repent, especially you, Colton. You better repent.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So, it's crazy to look at, man. Like seeing the pictures of New York, like you can't see anything. Where you can see New York from like a country mile away, you can't see anything. Like, good luck. Like, is New York over there, or is that just like? And there's some like random area like full of water. Like it is wild.
And I'm a driving instructor, so I'm out here in this haziness trying to teach people how to not hit things. So that's fun. Anyway, so we're gonna jump away. Hopefully, Canada eventually gets their shit together. I would listen. Here's the thing, Joe Biden. I'm asking you, just send them 40 Blackhawks. Help them out with the water because obviously, like having the little Royal Mounties on mooses throwing buckets of water doesn't help. So
it's Meese.
It's Mies?
Yeah, Mies.
Miska Muska Masketeers. Anyway, but having like
I knew you were going there with that.
Having a bunch of deadly do-rights throwing buckets of like wooden buckets of water. That's how I predict like the Canadian military is still like Canadian Mounties. Like I don't think they have a real one, but because Canadian military, they all have United States Army and Navy on their chest. That is the Canadian military. It is us. But
I can't take you serious. I'm not saying Canada.
It's Canadian. It is Canadian. Listen, Canada flows off the tongue so much better than Canada. Canada's abrupt. It's aggressive. Canada fits with their like whole entire fake niceness they go with. Hey. But yeah, hopefully they get their shit together because I'm tired of living this way. Regardless of all the people.
Oh, Yankees tonight. The frig.
People's houses are burning down. Their whole entire like any grass that they have left is destroyed, and we're like, no Yankees. We don't like hazy weather. Like,
so you know what's messed up? And before we jump subjects, I was like, oh, what does it actually look like? Like, how bad are these fires? I typed in Canada wildfires. Mm-hmm. You know what comes up? New York. No pictures of like actual fires from Canada, just New York. I'm like, dude, I had to swipe for a minute. Like I had like 2 or 3 good swipes before I found like the actual wildfire.
Kind of Google looking for a goddamn wildfire in Canada.
I looked on Twitter, so like I guess that's kind of my fault. But like I looked on Twitter, typed in Canada wildfire. I'm telling you, like 4 swipes, like easily, like 1, 2, 3, like literally, there's like there it is, not New York. Like holy, I'm like, this is when you know this is like awful.
I mean, maybe they're just not actually happening, and this is fake.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Conspiracy. No real form. No real. You never know. You never know. They hate us.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to move on from controversy to controversy because we're creating controversy now. Ja Morant is currently under fire in the NBA. In as many as, what is it, like 2 months prior, like beyond when he first got caught with the gun in the club, he got suspended. And then it comes up on an Instagram Live. He obviously flashes a firearm. And then he's getting like suspended indefinitely, apparently. I brought this up because today I watched Stephen A. Smith. He was talking to Adam Silver before game 3 of the finals. And he asked him, like, are you trying to send a message and things like that? And it got me kind of thinking, Colton, what do you feel about this situation? Because I looked it up. If he was in Tennessee, if he was still in Memphis, they're a constitutional carry state. So him having a firearm shouldn't be a problem in terms of just him having one. I get it with the optics, but it's kind of like if he's not breaking the law, like the first time having a gun in the club, against the law. Can't do that. You should be, you should be taken up for conduct. This time, just having a gun in his vehicle, there shouldn't be a problem in the state that he's in. How do you feel about what's going on with Ja right now?
It's weird because, like you said, the first incident, yes, you cannot have a gun in the club. Like, I feel like anyone should know that, but apparently Ja Morant thought he was different because he's an NBA superstar. The thing in the car, again, like you said, if he's in Tennessee, he's fine. It's just weird because people look up to him, and I think that's why the NBA and Silver are going to hammer him for this. Like, you just can't be doing it. Like, cool. You got, like, he's like acting like a high school kid. Like, I got to be Mr. Cool. Like, yeah, man, I got a gun. I'm like, dude, congratulations. How many other people in America have a gun? A lot of us do. Like, congratulations. You got one. Thanks, Jock. Thank you for letting us all know. Like, cool. Like, and no offense, you should have your own security team. So no offense, you should even have a gun on you. Like, cool, you want to have one? I'm not going to say you can't. Like, because, like, you're Ja Morant. But, like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? It's like, I get what you're saying. It is a really touchy subject. But the fact that he was already suspended the first time, and clearly, and if you heard Silver the first time, I remember cutting it up as it happened. It was like, yeah, get the Silver stuff in the system so you can play it. Yeah, he was not pleased. He was like, well, we talked, seemed like he got the message, and here he is flashing a gun again. Like, and again, on Instagram Live, like, what do you like? You know, you got suspended the first time for it, and it's like you're cool. Like, yeah, and the guy was like, holy crap, what are you doing? Like, duck the phone, like Ja, are we stupid? Like, come on, man. Like, I always find this stuff dumb with athletes doing these stupid things. Like, I don't know if it's a mindset they don't think they can get in trouble or, like, they're untouchable. If I was an athlete, I wouldn't be doing half this crap. Like, I'd be going to do my job and going the heck home and be finding my rear end in the postseason as I'm bounced out in Cancun or freaking Costa Rica. What are these guys doing? I don't get it. I'd do everything in my power not to risk it. Even if I was like a LeBron James, we're like, okay, if I did something like this, you can't touch me. I don't even risk it. Wouldn't even risk it. I don't get why these guys continue to do these dumb things. Like, blows my mind. I truly don't get it. It's actually incredible that they're this stupid, to be honest. And I'm extra pissed because he cost me first place. I easily had the best fantasy basketball team, and this guy literally screwed me. So I'm extra pissed with Ja Morant.
So it's interesting, sorry, Dave, that you brought up LeBron, because LeBron, when he retires, could make a good amount of money teaching a seminar to young players, because to handle all of the pressure and responsibility as an 18-year-old boy, he was a boy when he came into the league. And say what you want about him, flopping, whatever you want to say. I don't think he makes the greatest informed comments in the world, but the man is squeaky clean. He has done nothing wrong. Like, the worst thing that's happened to him is Delonte West banged his mom. Like, that wasn't even him. So it's like, that is the worst thing that happened to LeBron James. Outside of that, like, the guy has done nothing wrong. So he can teach a seminar about finding better teammates and also being squeaky clean for your career and not being a moron. Because it's not like, LeBron came from affluence. LeBron came from, a similar way to a lot of NBA players. They don't have much coming in. NBA's an out for them. Basketball's an out. They're seeing a ton of money. LeBron James is potentially going to be like right up there with Michael Jordan and could eventually be a billionaire like Jordan. He's smart enough business-wise to do that. So,
do you think this is on the NBA franchises, by the way? Because, like, I listened to Mike Tomlin talk in a podcast. I forget which podcast it was. My goodness. I don't think it was The Pivot when he was on Ryan Card. It was something more recent. It was Rich Eisen's show. And because it was talking about the rookie minicamp and how it all works with the rookies. Like, you do it every year. What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
And Tom was talking about how he's teaching these guys to be men, like the do's and don'ts, what to do with your money. Do NBA teams not do this stuff? Because guess what? They're even younger. They're younger. They're coming like pretty much right out of high school.
They have something like that.
Congratulations. Go 1 year in college. Cool. Congrats. They're not in college. They're not doing any schoolwork. They're just balling. That's it. Or doing football. I mean, football is a little different. Not 1 year, but like, you got to teach these kids how to be adults. And you're seeing it right now. Memphis is not doing that. And again, I can't say that's all Memphis' responsibility, but that's an asset. That's your prize. Don't you want to protect it at all costs, or at least show it the right direction on what to do? Seems like they didn't do that.
I'll say this is the difference between the NFL and NBA. NFL is still a team league. The team still matters more than most of the players. Your quarterback is like the most important guy, obviously. But the team is still extremely important. NBA's not. The NBA started to go a weird direction once Commissioner Stern was gone. Adam Silver, people might call me out for this, but when the dress code dropped for players having to enter into that stadium and they could just wear whatever the fuck they wanted, a lot of things changed. They started to really cater to players much more. And when you do that, it is now hard to then start to really give your players direction outside of what to do on the court. So they took away that kind of ability for people to sit there and say, this is the right way to do things. They leave it up to the veterans to kind of police their own, where I think they kind of pigeonholed themselves, where they decided that the player is more important than the team. The player is more important than anything else because there's 5 guys on the court. A player can have a huge difference. So let's keep these players happy at all costs, where even if you go back to early 2000s, the team was still the more important part than the player. There were superstars, but it was still all about the team. That's why guys have a loyalty.
These guys coming in the league. I'm like Ja Morant coming in the league. No way Ja Morant was this cocky and like had all this. Like, Ja Morant was a good citizen. Not saying he's wrong in anything. Like, he's a bad person. I'm not saying that at all. But like, you could have easily taught these guys still. Again, like they might have. I'm not taking a shot. Like, Memphis very well could have like the same system. Like, what to do with your money, like what not to do on social media, this, that, and the other. Like, they very well could. So, like, I just don't know that. Like, I'm not a Memphis fan, so I don't follow them deeply, like, read into it. Not my player, so, like, I don't have to read into it that much, like, or care. But, so they might. But he's still going to, like, they don't have the, like, oh, I'm untouchable thing coming right in the league. Even if you are the second overall pick, like Ja Morant and how good he was at Murray State, they're still going to be like, okay, NBA, I'm not going to have the onions to go up to whoever's there and have like this, that, and the other and be all the tough guy. You can still teach them. And Memphis very well could have. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not sitting here and calling out Memphis for doing a bad job, teaching this kid how to be an adult and how to handle his money and how to act. And again, like you said, not everything's wrong. If he was in Tennessee waving the gun in his car,
it's stupid. You shouldn't flash a gun.
It is dumb.
Yeah, but it's not illegal.
He's not doing anything illegal. So,
and the thing is, too, you can't tell grown men and grown women, for that matter, what to do when they're off the court, when they're away from the practice field, when they're, practice court, when they're not getting treatment, when they're not. So when they're on their own time, you can try and teach them as much as you want. But if they're immature, they're immature. And you can even go back to Plaxico Burress. Plaxico Burress, for all intents and purposes, didn't seem like an immature dude. It really didn't. But he made a really idiotic decision. Should he have went to jail for what he did? No, that was stupid. That whole entire situation there. The city's different animal, though. But, you can't control these guys afterwards. So they could be pleading with Ja Morant, but it's also about the inner circle you keep, right? If you keep bad influences around you, then you're going to have, you're going to make bad decisions. 2K makes their my player mode every time about this, right? They always do that. You're this, kid that comes up and then you have this bad egg pulling you here and this. And the last one I played, it was girlfriend versus bad egg, which was whatever. But still, like, it's even a storyline that's popular that we know that this goes on. So honestly, I think Kendrick Perkins might have had a really good suggestion here. Get him out of Memphis. If he can't handle the culture in Memphis, maybe he needs to be out, and that would suck for Memphis. And if I'm Memphis, I'm like, no, he's staying here and playing ball for us, or he's going to retire because I don't know if he's not doing right by me by staying on the floor. Why should I help him? Like, it's kind of a business decision there. So I don't know what the answer is. Dave, do you have anything else to add? I kind of cut you off there. I'm a dick.
No, I was mainly going to talk about how the second time really in itself, like in a vacuum incident, is really not bad in any sense. I mean, he's just holding a gun in a car, but I think after the first time in the club where, if you're going to get caught with a gun in the club, that's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
The NBA probably had maybe not like a binding agreement with him, but some type of agreement where it's like, listen, just don't get into any kind of controversy for a little bit. Like, not, at least not until next season, please. So I think that is actually what pissed Adam Silver off more than anything. Not like, oh, he's holding a gun, mainly just why couldn't he just listen just for a little bit, just so you could have no heat on you and we could be okay. I think that was the problem.
And Adam Silver is as much of a players commissioner as you're going to find. So there's no way he wants to keep Ja Morant off the court because he knows Ja Morant brings eyes, it brings money, it brings revenue, it sells jerseys, it sells tickets. Mm-hmm. So, but, I think they're going to do what they got to do. And I think we might not see Ja Morant play next season. I think there's a solid chance that Ja Morant may be suspended for the year. And while I disagree with that over what this is, I can see it if it's what David said. Like, dude, just don't be an idiot for the rest of the season. Give us the rest of the season to not be a moron. And he couldn't do that.
Not happy with Ja.
Yeah, well, because but the thing is, it helps both him and them for him not to get into any controversy after that first thing. So they're. I mean, it's not like they're trying to. Because you said Silver is a very player-friendly commissioner. He doesn't want to do much of anything most of the time, as long as he could find a way not to. So it is different for him to be this angry.
So I want to move on. I want to talk about the finals. As we are speaking right now, Game 3 of the NBA Finals is going on. Nuggets are currently in the lead, but it's a tight game. It's a good game in Miami right now. The series is currently tied 1-1. Surprisingly, Miami snuck a win in Denver, which after game 1, I think everyone from top to bottom, I know I wrote off the Heat after the Eastern Conference Finals. I thought the Denver was a better team. Nikola Jokic is one of the best players in the world. Definitely a guy that's going to make we're going to realize how good he was later. He's going to be one of those guys. We know he's great now, but we're not going to realize what he did until 10 years from now when he's fully gone. I don't know. Jokic may play 10 more years, but until he's gone, we're not going to realize how good he was. Mm-hmm. But right now, this is kind of a weird finals, right? Because we were staring at Celtics and Lakers. We were staring that right in the face, and the NBA loves it. Nothing more than to bring back that rivalry. They probably had the highlight films already cut up and everything, and having Tatum throw his nuts in LeBron's face in that one final and the dunk as a rookie. Like, they probably had it all cut up, storylines ready. And then all of a sudden, here comes Jimmy Butler just throwing his dong on the table and is like, here, let's come undrafted kids. Follow me. I will raise your level up. And they end up beating the Celtics after the Celtics almost bought their way into winning 4 games because they didn't win 3. I really thought the NBA was fixing it because I hate Boston. But it's an interesting series. Colton, how interested are you? You're a Lakers fan, so you're obviously unhappy with the result in the Western Conference Finals. But in terms of interest level of looking at Nuggets Heat, what is your interest in this final?
Jamal Murray. I talked a lot of smack on the radio producing. So like some of the shows you could talk a little bit, with each host. So the one host I was with, I was talking a little bit, knew I was a Laker fan. So we're talking back and forth. I'm not really scared of Jamal Murray. I don't think he's got the cojones to put it out there. And Jamal Murray showed up, and he's got 20 tonight so far.
You listen to WFAN.
So, shout out to Denver. And, my goodness, the people that don't think Joker's good and, a stat stuffer like Russell Westbrook, do you guys watch basketball?
And fuck that. Russell Westbrook is amazing. Russell Westbrook was a fantastic player, okay? Still.
Yeah, the league's passed him by. Thank God he's not a Lakers uniform. But, hey, man. But, again, Joker's special. If he ends up winning a title here and they win, another one or two, you may appreciate him a lot earlier. But I agree. He wins this title and then he kind of ends up being a really, really good player, but doesn't win anymore. Has some postseason success, but not winning any more titles. I agree with you. It's gonna be one of those you look back and damn,
They'll compare him to Dirk. That'll be his comparison forever. Will be Dirk Nowitzki, even though he's much better than Dirk. And that's not a shot at Dirk.
That's saying something.
But he is a much better player than Dirk Nowitzki was.
It's wild how good he sees the floor. Like, he's literally like a point guard. He sees the floor so well. Mm-hmm. He scores the ball so well. The problem is he doesn't need to. He sees the floor so well. He's passing guys open. He's got Jamal Murray finally hitting shots. And Tavis Caldwell-Pope's finally hitting shots for some odd reason. Michael Porter is actually healthy. And this is how you got Denver chugging along here. And it frustrates me as a Laker fan because the Lakers were in a lot of those games. So that's what really pissed me off. But I got, street clothes, a Disney, as Matt liked to call them. He botched it. It's so disappointing to watch him play. But shout out to Denver, man. And I agree with you. I picked Denver going into this, but I didn't count out Miami. I didn't think there was like everyone was like, it's going 5. Miami's not going to go down swinging because if Miami's hot, you're screwed. They can just shoot the ball. And you got a guy like Jimmy Butler that's going to stop Jamal Murray if he needs to stop. Like, you
forget how good of a defender.
Shout out to Bam Adebayo. Bam's been really good so far in the finals.
Yes.
So shout out to Bam Adebayo. That's a guy that was like, I didn't really love to like Jamal Murray. Like, cool, he's a good player. Congrats. Like, I'm not really scared of him. Bam's saying, yeah, you're an idiot, dude. Freezing cold takes. Here you go. Here's another one. So shout out to Miami. And again, I never want to hear sports are rigged. Yeah, the Lakers, Celtics.
Yeah.
Right mind wants to see Miami and Denver. Nobody. You have Lakers, Celtics. Could be the greatest thing to watch on television. Biggest rivalries in like all the sports. Lakers, Celtics. Had it. It's right there. It's like, fix the game any which way you have to. No. It's not fixed. I'm sorry. This is why you know it's not fixed. You think
you wish it was fixed, Colton. If it was fixed, you would be watching your team in the
exactly.
Right now.
You know it's not fixed. I never want to hear people complain like, "Oh, sports are fixed." The NBA had the home Grand Slam, walk-off Grand Slam, Game 7, win the World Series, walk-off, and you got Denver, Miami, and that's not shot. You had the Grand Slam, though. Whatever you want to call it. It's there.
Before, Dave, I'm going to get to you about your level of interest real quick. But beforehand, you talked about Lakers-Celtics being the Grand Slam. Which is a bigger rivalry, Lakers-Celtics, Duke, North Carolina basketball?
I mean, it's more recent. It's clearly Duke, North Carolina, because you haven't seen the Lakers-Celtics final, and the hater rivalry with the players bouncing around the league.
That's
so
a little unfair because the ACC, Carolina. They're in the ACC, so they see each other every year.
Yeah,
so it's a little unfair. Yeah. So
if you were to have one here, and the problem is it wouldn't last because LeBron's on his way out. Street clothes doesn't stay healthy as it is, so he's only getting older, so it's only going to get worse. So it'd be cool having it. Like, it'd be a cool series, but I have to go Duke, North Carolina, and I don't know if you'll ever get that rivalry back, to be honest. Like, with the way the NBA is, you don't really have homegrown guys. And especially, like, the Lakers having high picks, they're not going to, land like a Kobe Bryant, to, have, like, a star player around. Like, clearly Boston did with, your lovely Nets deciding to, throw all that and give them assets. But you're not going to see it. It's just, you could, but everyone's friendly in the league. And again, Matt hates it. I don't hate it. Like, cool, I get it. It's a social media world, but it's got to be Duke, North Carolina. You're just not going to see that hated of. And again, it wasn't like it was a respect thing with Magic and Larry and those teams of the past. But you're not going to see it the same. You're not. Like, cool. We all hate Boston and everyone hates the Lakers. But it's not hated, man. Like, Duke, North Carolina, you're getting it every year. Like, it's got to be them.
I'll say this. The NBA did fix something. Those ping pong balls, they do pop a bone there. But anyway, Dave, what about you? Your level of interest in this final?
Balls, too. You know what he fixed? The Knicks. How much the NBA would love the Knicks to be, really good.
No.
They had Zion and Ja Morant there, and they get RJ Barrett.
Only people that want the Knicks to be good are Knicks fans. I don't think the NBA gives a fuck about the Knicks anymore.
It's a major market. Yes, they do. They want the Bulls to be good. They want the Knicks to be good. Yes, they do.
No,
Stop.
The Knicks are balls. Anyway, Dave, you didn't pay attention to much basketball. Like, you splashed with the Nets a little bit.
Yeah.
You watched that fucking train wreck. What is your level of interest in this finals as someone that didn't pay that much of attention?
So I'm not going to lie off of watching interest. I haven't watched much of the finals, but also that's mainly because I want to keep consistent. And it was a really bad basketball year for me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to come in and act like I cared about this the whole fucking time. But my level of interest just with the teams that got in the way they did and the fact that it's different and, Joker versus Jimmy and in that aspect, I actually am highly interested just who's going to come out of this and how they're going to come out of this. I mean, I thought Nuggets in 6 mainly because I think that the Heat can kind of drag it out a little bit because of their grit and just how well they play together.
Yeah.
But I think the Nuggets are just an overall better team, and they're feeling it. So but still, it's probably more a competitive finals than a lot of people want to admit. But I mean, we'll see, and I'm very interested to see who's going to get that ring, and then what's the narrative that's going to come out of this, because there's always something.
So, Dave, you said Nuggets in 6. Colton, what are you with your prediction how the rest of the series is going?
I'm also Nuggets in 6.
I'm going to go on the outside after seeing them upset Nuggets in Denver, Miami in 7. Jimmy Butler is going to get it. Mostly, and honestly, this is kind of emotional because I want to see Jimmy Butler get a ring. I think Joker is going to be here again. So I don't know. This might be Jimmy's last chance to get a ring. And he's been a guy that's been so fun to watch. Like, he played quote unquote second fiddle D Rose on the Bulls, even though he was the only guy outside of Paul George that could even think of slowing down prime LeBron in the East. He was one of the rare guys that could defend him. He went over to Minnesota, got a bad rap because he wasn't a bitch and just didn't want
people to play better.
Wanted people to give effort. And I always thought it was ridiculous that they're like, oh, he was so mean in practice. And then we're like, yeah, but Kobe used to hit people and Michael Steve Kerr, and they're awesome. It's like, no, all Jimmy did was show up the starters by playing with the second team and roasting them. Oh, and then he brought them to a playoffs, throwing that out there. Then he goes to the Sixers, where obviously the Sixers were idiots by going with Tobias Harris and letting Jimmy Butler go, because
I don't think that's what it was.
He was the closer of that team.
I don't think that was. I think Jimmy was leaving. I don't think Jimmy was. They were too young. I think they were too young and immature, dude. Like Embiid now, no way they're letting him at the door. Like Embiid wants to win. No way. Like Embiid was like soft, eating his freaking cheeseburgers on the freaking exercise table. Like this is different. And Ben Simmons is Ben Simmons.
Did you see his reaction though when they were playing and he goes to I think he went to the owner, him over me? So I don't know. I don't know if there was something there because he was kind of making it look like you guys replaced me with Tobias Harris.
Well, I think Joel had a lot to say in that. And Joel probably was a guy, he's kind of mean. Where if you were to go back now, they made a ginormous mistake. Because I think actually Philly would win. Dude, he fits the nasty, the toughness.
Philly would have
Philly.
multiple championships. Multiple championships if Jimmy stayed there.
Oh,
Ben Simmons would have been just fine. Because also what I see from Jimmy, even though he's hard, these guys love him. The guy seems like a dope teammate. Like, if you're willing to work and go to work, if you buy in and you're willing to go to work, he'll die for you. Like, he seems like that type of dude. But if you're not going to put in the time of day, what did Kobe say? Why am I going to care about a dude that comes in on time and is the first one to leave? He should be there an hour early putting up shots and should stay an hour late to play some more. That proves that you want to win. Like, this is your job. This is the only thing you have to do. Get out there and do it. Don't just be here when you have to. And I feel like Jimmy Butler is that type of old school where he's not going to get there on time. He's probably in there for an hour on end, getting treatment, doing what he's got to do, staying late to watch film. Like, he's that type. And I think if he has guys that buy in, you could see it. Miami's prepared. Every single game, they are prepared defensively. It has a lot to do with Eric Spoelstra. Spoelstra is one of the greatest coaches of all time. Easily.
God.
Easily one of the greatest coaches. He doesn't have to win another championship. The way he has taken these team, the bubble championship, now that counts, right? Because he did it again. The getting into the finals in the bubble, but he did it again. So, and I have to say, Cole, I was on record saying that the Lakers were going to make a deep run in the playoffs before anybody said they would. I said that flat out, that the Lakers were going to make a deep run. So
I said it. People thought I was nuts. I remember talking to Jody Mack from WIP. He was like, no way. I'm like, he goes, they're the 9th seed. I'm like going through the process. I'm like, dude, after the deadline, they're easily going to be have fun. You're not going to want to play the Lakers as long as Anthony Davis doesn't die in the first round. You're not going to want to play the Lakers. Have fun.
If D'Lo has a better playoff, If D'Lo has a better playoffs, there's a finals appearance for the Lakers.
If he has a better series against Denver, he was just you couldn't put him on the floor. Oh.
Yeah, no, the lights were too big for him. He had a great year with the Lakers, but the lights were too big for him.
He was good in the first two rounds. He wasn't bad. He just was.
And I love me some D'Lo.
I like D'Lo too. He just couldn't play him. Ugh.
I do want to recommend, if people haven't seen it, the video of the voicemail that was sent to Jimmy Butler, or the Instagram voice message that was sent to Jimmy Butler when they were blowing the 3-0 series lead against Boston. It's probably one of the funniest things I've heard in a while. So I highly recommend finding that and listening to it.
Dave, you should have told it. I would have had it set up.
Oh yeah,
we could have played it on air. Maybe I'll find it. Dave, while I look for this, go ahead, explain really quickly the Zion situation. Colt, do you know about this situation with Zion and the porn star?
So I don't know a ton of this. I know a little bit, but I feel like some of it might be wrong. So correct me if I get it wrong. But Zion has been up to things, and someone who he was up to things with, who is a star of the corn variety or the porn variety, whatever kind of filter you want. But she came on Twitter and just started going at him, talking about the things they did, and also that he got another woman pregnant, and then basically wanted them both to still move with him. There's a whole debacle on Twitter as she's going off. I haven't seen anything else from it, but I've seen just things here and there. I don't think Zion's said anything yet, which I don't know if I would if I was him.
I don't think he can. That he's got a whole kid on the way. I don't think he really can say much. That's kind of one of those things. No, I wasn't doing that behind your back. No, I wasn't doing any of that. No, not at all. You know what's crazy? I remember when Zion first came to the league, there was he sent some picture. It was some weird Snapchat when he was at Duke to some chick, and it ended up on social media. It was a bad picture. Holy crap, this is Zion Williamson. Yeah, this is Zion, the future #1 pick kind of thing. And to all of a sudden seeing that, I'm like, this is the same guy. This is nuts, man. He's a freak. Holy crap. He should worry about staying on the floor instead of doing all this nonsense.
Yeah, he's been out there having a lot of fun, man. I mean, I can't entirely blame him for having extracurricular fun. Because let's be honest, all NBA players are probably going to have a little bit of that. But just for it to all blow up on Twitter is just
incredible,
wild to see.
I remember just listening to the radio and Craig Carton, Evan's all on my Twitter account is New York photos. And Craig's like, yeah, mine's a little bit different. And then he bounced right into this and read every tweet possible. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I mean, listen, Zion.
Wait.
Go ahead.
We can't. No. We can't talk about this and not bring up what's his name? Hart. Asking if breast milk tastes good. What was it? It happened a minute ago.
Asking for a friend, yeah.
Asking for a friend. He was asking if
have you ever tasted your girl's breast milk? Does it taste good? Asking for a friend.
Yes. And I can't remember who answered, but they were like, yes.
Listen, I'm okay with it. If it's your baby mama's, that's okay. It's a weird ask, but at least he's not like, hey, what about that
Twitter and asking?
What about that pregnant prostitute? Have you ever tasted hers? It's like, no, we ain't.
That's fair. That's fair.
So at least it's his girls. And Josh Hart also had something funny. Dame Lillard came out and said today on a show that Miami would be an obvious trade destination because Bam's his dog. Mm-hmm. Brooklyn is an obvious trade destination because also Mikal Bridges is his dog. Mm-hmm. So then Josh Hart tweets, he's like, I thought I was your dog, ... And I love Josh Hart. He's great. As much as the Knicks suck, he's awesome. So it's fun to see that he's there. No, I don't hate the Knicks. I hate their fans. I'm fine with the Knicks. Their fans are just super unknowledgeable. Anyway, we're gonna keep on moving. So finals, again, my prediction, game 7. I want to stay in NBA here. We have some mixed messages going on here, Bull. I wonder if you know anything more at all. I saw on Bleacher Report as I'm scrolling through Instagram, being a mindless zombie, I see a big thing, Bleacher Report. Chris Paul waived by the Phoenix Suns. And at first, I double-ticked. I'm like, is this spelled correctly? Is this one of those fake accounts? Mm-hmm. Wasn't fake. Bleacher Report bets responds. Chris Paul will end up _ what's your bet? So when I'm reading through the comments and people are all like, what is this? Is this fake? Blah, blah, blah. He's going to retire, going with Dwight to Shanghai. A lot of these hilarious things. Or,
he's going to Shanghai.
He's hanging out with Dwight in Taiwan. Like, they're doing like all this stuff, like his career's done. But not too long after, I get an ESPN alert on my phone saying Phoenix Suns and Chris Paul may part ways by the end of June if a contract agreement can't be reached. And I'm just like, this is the two biggest voices in sports right now, completely and totally contradictory reports. I don't know which one to believe. Bolt, what do you believe? Is CP3 waived? Are they working through things? Should Kevin Durant get the gun now? Like, what is going on?
I don't think he's been waived yet. Shams tweeted out that they're working on some things. They're either going to end up waiving him, they're trying to trade him. So good luck trading that. No one's signing up for that contract and saying, yeah, I will take it. And working out possibly extending his contract to eat the salary cap and lower it bit by bit. I think they end up cutting him in the end.
Wild.
But I wouldn't. I would try to extend it, see if we can get a little bit cheaper, and then have him retire, next year or the year after. Cool. Like he's a great guy to be around, like a Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. Like, run it back. You never saw it really. Give it next year. And if he's bad, all right, like cut ties then. But I'm trying to extend him to cheapen his deal out. So if you do end up wanting to ship him out, it's a lot easier to do that. But at the same time, Phoenix fired Monty Williams. I don't know how that was Monty's fault, to be honest. So to be honest, I have no idea what's going on with this league. So
yeah. And I will say the comedic timing on this is exceptional by Phoenix, because this is coming out not too long after Chris Paul says that his kids are old enough to hear from other kids that their father's never going to get a ring. So why does this have to come out now? I don't know.
And it's like, how disrespectful. Chris Paul, like, yeah, he doesn't have a ring. You could talk about choking, whatever. All the guy does is go take immature franchises, turns them around, makes them contenders just in time for that franchise to go, yeah, fuck off. It's like every single time he comes into the league, makes Charlotte into at least a fun team to watch, right? And then he goes to the Clippers. The Clippers were a terrible franchise. They were not good at anything. And he makes them into quite literally a contender. Like everywhere he has stopped, outside of maybe I think his last stint in OKC with the Russ, that wasn't good, but it was what it was. That might have been his only bad stop, and I still think they made the playoffs. So I don't think it was bad by his standard. And now he comes to Phoenix and he matures Devin Booker, because every time he wasn't on the floor, the Suns looked really average, which is Booker and Ayton, and before KD got there. So it's like I feel bad for the guy. It's disrespectful. Like I don't buy into like he's the greatest point guard of all time. He's obviously not. He's an all-time great, but he's not the greatest ever to do it. But
he's one of the greatest players of all time not to get a ring.
He's right up there with Barkley. He's right up there with some of those. Absolutely, he'll be up there with Carmelo. He'll be up there with Jimmy if Jimmy doesn't get this. Like he's up there because he's one of the greatest players to ever play. He's a top 50 player. I'll give him that. But I just find it so disrespectful to be like, yeah, thanks. You helped us get KD. And if you're KD, you're looking at this going, the hell? What is going on? I was obviously exhausted in the final series. Nobody helped me. What is D-Book had great individual games. D-Book doesn't make anybody else better. So it's like, man, what is Phoenix doing?
You're going to go back to square one with no point guard. Congratulations. You're going to have two guys who are going to put the ball in the hoop. Congratulations. You saw the same thing in Brooklyn, and no offense, boys, it didn't really work out well. You kind of need that true point guard, and he is.
When they were both healthy, they were the best team in the NBA.
We were a toe away from a finals. A toe.
I remember being at the bar for that in the NBA. I'll never forget that shot. I was at
everything in the NBA. I
was at Beachcomber.
Should have known that was the omen right there, that it was never going to work. When a goddamn toe. When Kevin Durant has to wear a shoe size that's probably a little bit too big for him, it's going to ruin everything.
Giannis gave him his shoes that game. He knew he needed it. But yeah, so no, I feel bad for CP3, and I want to move on to more things I feel bad for. Everton and Crystal Palace.
Hey, you don't have to feel bad for Crystal Palace. Palace is fine.
Palace is fine. Palace is, good for Palace.
Hey, we're on a downswing. Things didn't work out. Vieira. Hodgson comes back. Absolute legend. Absolute menace. Brings everyone plays better, and then mid-table. I'm fine with it. We didn't have to worry. We were actually perfectly content going into the final games of the season.
And for anyone, we're talking about English Premier League soccer for you Americans. But Cole, Everton should have been exactly where Crystal Palace is. That should be. They're one of the most well-funded clubs in the EPL. They have a great following and support group. They were like, what were you guys, 4 points away from relegation this time around?
They were closer.
Was it closer?
They were in relegation for a minute. I can't remember when they popped out. You know, Cole, I don't need to take over for this, but
what the hell's going on?
It's been poor recruitment, dude. Like, yeah, they've been well funded. I mean, they haven't been able to spend money the past 2 years. They've had to sell guys. Clearly they don't want to sell Richarlison. They had to because of financial fair play. Anthony Gordon, great. Cool. They actually got more money for him than I expected, to be honest, because he hasn't done anything for Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
But they poor recruitment. Like, you're looking at guys like Michael Keane that they spent £30+ million for, and he's awful. You don't want him anywhere near the team. Mason Holgate, look at all the players they brought in, and they've been awful. It's like, you're bringing James Rodriguez, cool, big signing, and he's out the door as soon as Rafa comes in the door. What is this recruitment? It's just, man.
Do you make a run at Christian Pulisic?
It comes down to. Yeah, you have Bill Kenwright, their chairman, and Denise, Baron Baxendale. They're awful. So they don't show up for games because you're scared of getting beat up. No, care about the club. They're awful. Get out. Leave. If you love the club and you know you're doing it wrong, wouldn't you say, I love this. I'd rather watch and enjoy this somewhere else and have people that know what they're doing come in. It's been awful. Recruitment. It's been awful. Leave the door. And they haven't left. Oh, God.
So do you court a guy like Christian Pulisic that can at least finish and has been playing in the EPL? Yeah, he had a downturn for Chelsea. I don't think he played well late. Injuries definitely hampered him. Do you go after him and not let him go over? Because he's going to go to Italy. And I personally think Christian Pulisic's game is a much better fit in Serie A and that style of play. Yeah. But Everton needs to finish. You need guys that are going to finish.
I'd love to get Pulisic. Is it going to happen? Probably not. He doesn't feel like dealing with what the other U.S. boys did in Leeds. Mm-hmm. He's going to want to be on a more secure team that's okay, I'm not having to get embarrassed and go down as America's number one guy. We'll see how that works out with oh gosh, I don't know how to say the kid's name.
Brugge, I can't say his name.
Ballador or something like that. I forget his name.
He's going to be better than Pulisic.
Yeah, so him coming in and to the national team, but no way. I'd love. So you're asking? Yes, I would love Pulisic. Is it going to happen? Most likely not.
But you got to think if you bring Everton up, and even if you get into a freaking
mid-table,
just mid-table,
you bring them up. You're looking for Europa at the bottom, right? Because I feel like a Europa is feasible. Everton should be right there.
Not after this.
It stinks? They were there with Carlo, man. They were there with Enchilada before he left for Real Madrid.
They were. So let's go on. Let's talk about a real club, Man City. It's weird because I've been expecting the stumble every time. Winning the EPL was kind of just it's going to happen every year. I was never in my Arsenal. I never thought United has a chance. At this point, they just reload.
United might have a chance.
They win the table.
United might be your dance partner in the next few years if they can get a legit striker in the
as they should be, because they're getting better. United, again, they looked better in the FA Cup, but obviously City was just a stronger squad, right? They have their depth when they come in, their subs in the 70th start on every other team in the EPL. So it is tough to compete with the depth that they have right now. And this is with getting rid of some of the top guys, with getting rid of Cancelo and things like that. Are they going to stumble against Inter? Because this is the type of thing. This is the type of game. Inter is going to play that traditional Italian defensive counter. If City isn't patient, they could lose 1-0. And it's a very City thing to do to not win the Champions League, because this is what they do. They fuck it up in the Champions League. Bolt, from your eyes looking in, is City basically in a lock for the treble?
I think they are indeed. I'm telling you, Erling Haaland. He scores too many goals as he plays with Kevin De Bruyne. Sorry, yes, I got to put the freaking ball in the back of the net, and he does a very, very good job at that. Not a shot at you, Matt, but yeah, it's a shot at you, dude. He's amazing. I don't care. You can put him on any team. He's scoring a shit ton of goals. Cool. You got to finish him, and he finishes them. Sorry, he's amazing. So yeah, I think they get it, and I think they will be patient enough and. They have so much talent. It's wild. Like I remember when Everton played them this year, and I'm like, I know Everton's going to park the bus because they did well against them this year, and they've actually played City well the past few years. Like they're going to park the bus and see what they can do. Neil Gundogan, what a goal! Like they have so much world class players on their team. Mm-hmm. They're going to get a goal. Yeah, and then Milan's. Inter's going to try to open it up and try to get a goal back, and City's going to – I think City wins 3-0 or at least 2-0.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is that they can play, the Italians – Inter can play the Italian style, but I can't – it's extraordinarily difficult. You need to play a damn near perfect game for the whole 90-plus injury in order to stop them from scoring a goal. You need to play so damn well in order to stop City from getting into the back of the net. And it's most likely going to happen once. So you're going to need to score the goal. Most likely, Inter, if they want to beat City, they're going to have to score first. You have to score first, and then you could try to actually park a little bit and then play more of that defensive
style. You have to. You're right. They're going to have to score first to park the bus and hit them on the counter to somehow try to get two and really put the pressure on them that they don't even need to try to hit the counter. Just park it. Mm-hmm. Everyone's heading everything out. Let's go.
But the issue against City, though, is that you go up and then they just come back anyway. So, you're not secure when you go up against City.
Thing about City is you can't park it after one because they go and they'll score 3 to start the second half. And I've seen that happen where they're down 1-0. Like Newcastle is a tough club. I think I remember at the beginning of the year, Newcastle was up 1-0 until like the 75th. And then all of a sudden the game was over at 4-2. Like the City just went on a run, and that's what they're capable of. Now, I'm concerned because you're looking at it, and even if they get the treble, I'm thinking of next year. Gundogan, there is rumors of him leaving. I'll be pissed because I love that man because he has come on so strong late. It seems like every time that Haaland has kind of taken like a lull, which Haaland has taken very few lulls, but you've had guys like him stepping up and scoring goals. And I mean, I don't want to talk about the treble as much as I brought it up. I don't want to talk about it because it's like, to me,
jinx it.
It's not even a jinx. City doesn't win the Champions League. They just don't do it. They should have won for the past 5 seasons. They were the favorites, and they have fucked it up every single year. So I don't want to talk about it. This team does feel different. And as much as Matt hates it, if they do win this, Pep Guardiola isn't the greatest coach ever, but he is right up there with the greatest coaches in the history of Europe. If he gets City to get the treble, that is so difficult to do in English football. It's such a hard task, and just in European football in general. So I'm excited for it. I'm not going to make a prediction. I refuse to.
And we should mention this real quickly, though, because I am going to wash over the predictions, but we should mention Messi now going to Inter Miami.
So Messi is retired.
Yes, but still, that is, I mean, yeah, obviously you're basically getting a retirement player again, but it's Lionel Messi coming to the MLS. That's still good for the MLS.
And he's chosen over Saudi Arabia with Benzema, Conte, Ronaldo.
Yep.
Again, you think Saudi Arabia would love to have Messi and Ronaldo in the same league?
Exactly.
He was scared. He didn't want to go get shown up as an old man in that league.
I think he was worried. I think he was worried about his kids. I think that's what he was worried about.
Probably, but yeah, it is exciting whenever the good players come to the MLS, but it's always annoying because we are a nursing home. Yeah. So it's kind of like we don't get them at their prime. Like the best we've gotten was, when the Red Bulls had Thierry Henry and Bradley Wright Phillips were at the same time. They were both, Bradley Wright Phillips came off closer to the end, but still pretty good in his prime, which is why I think he has the record for goals in the MLS still. Unless and score. I don't know, but he's pretty up there. Messi's going to set the goal record at an unattainable level, and there should be an asterisk because they should just be like, he's Lionel Messi. He doesn't count. And also, if we don't start officially just holding up like the Thundercats Lionel whenever he's around, I feel like we're irrelevant people.
I don't know about that.
Because
that's for Miami to decide. They're going to decide how to cheer for him.
Oh, every time he scores, they should just do Thundercats, ho, and just have like Lionel show up on the screen.
That's ridiculous.
Tell me that wouldn't be awesome. It would be outplayed because it would be like, he's going to score 6 goals a game. It's going to be.
I don't know about 6 goals a game.
It's going to be like the U15 women playing the women's national team. It's going to be that easy for him. With the
U15 men.
U15 men. Even the U15 women might be better in our national team. But the U15 men.
Disrespectful as hell.
The U15 men playing our women's national team and just destroying them. But, yeah, no. All right, let's move on to something that doesn't scare me. Let's talk about the NFL. Bull, your Steelers. How are they going to be? Your division is the weirdest division in football right now. How are they going to be?
I think they're going to be a lot better than people think, to be honest.
I think
I've seen a bunch of things. Sports books having the Steelers as the 4th team in the division. Okay, sure. I think they've had one of the best off seasons they've had, like probably their franchise's history. And that's they didn't make any big splashes. They made some very good signings. I was like, Suamalu coming in from the Eagles offensive line. Hearing every one of those players on the O-line sucked losing him. Thank you. That is magic to my ears. I'm very glad to hear that. Like Roderick Jones, Joey Porter Jr. Again, these are their draft. I thought they were easily the 2nd best draft behind the Eagles. Again, it's all on paper. These guys could all flop. But on paper, one of the best drafts in the league. You have a very solid offseason bringing guys in. I'm very happy. Kenny Pickett looks good going into his 2nd year. A lot of success down the stretch, game-winning drives, which a lot of young quarterbacks don't have that experience. Mm-hmm. He's got it already under his belt, getting 2 game-winning drives in 3 weeks. I'm very excited for the future. I think they're easily, again, sounds like a homer pick, they're a dark horse team for the whole thing. If Kenny plays well, they're a dark horse team with that defense.
The second coming of Hines Ward is over there with Pickens, too. He's the second coming of Hines Ward. I love that. I actually, he's one of my favorite receivers, and I hate that he's part of such an awful franchise. Anyway, go ahead, Dave.
Honestly, I think right now, I can't go against Cincinnati as tops in that division. I can't. I can't do it. So, but I think that Steelers, if they play to the maximum of their ability, they can definitely be second in the division, 100%. I mean, Baltimore, you can't count them out. Because if Lamar comes back and he plays just as well as he did before the injury, then that team's still spooky at all levels. But I think they're fighting in that division. I don't think they're down. I think the Browns have a lot to show in order for them to be in order for them to not be last in that division. Watson has to come back and look like Watson because he didn't last year. Yeah. So when he was playing. But that's the thing is, and the Steelers, they have a chance, man, especially the way Pickett looked like he has the courage and the mindset in order to look like he can actually win games and play competent quarterback, which is something that you just need in the first place. So
that's what I'm excited about. He's not Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying that.
No.
He doesn't have to be that either. They have a lot of weapons around him, a really good run game. They're starting to build a picket fence in front of him.
Oh my God! I hate you for that. I hate you for that.
I didn't. A lot of the Steeler fans doing our spaces, like I said, I'm like, oh, I'm definitely taking this. And
you have to, yeah. No, I don't blame you.
That's so corny, and I love it. Anyway, that division's odd to me. I think the Bengals are the most vulnerable good team. It feels weird that they should have a grasp on that division, and it doesn't feel like they do.
But then they'll get blown out by the Browns. It's the wildest thing ever.
I just can't go against Burrow, though, because that man's cold. He's cold, son.
I think the scary thing is I think Deshaun comes back, and I think that just because there is weapons there. Amari Cooper is a bona fide one. Nick Chubb is a bona fide running back. They have a
really
good line. They have a good defense.
It's gonna be that secondary is suspect.
It is,
especially the safeties.
But the thing is, the AFC North's going to be a dogfight like it always is, and I feel like you're going to see a 9-8 team come out as a division winner, but it's they're a really good 9-8 team. It's not like that 9-8
you have a 9-8 team. I think someone's going to easily have 12 wins.
They could, but I also think you guys beat the hell out of each other. in the division.
Oh, it's weird because like the Steelers like play really good against Baltimore. Even Lamar in his MVP season, like it was a freaking video game. Lamar looked like dog crap against the Steelers. Like the Steelers made him look silly. If it wasn't for a Juju fumble, the Steelers beat the Ravens in that game. The Browns roll the Bengals. They'll run all over them. Like it's
division play, man. That's how it always is.
So, Bull,
weird shit.
I know you got a boogie soon. I want to do our last thing.
No. I want to talk on the Jets first, though. What are your thoughts?
Okay. We have waxed on about the Jets.
I know it doesn't have to be long because you guys would probably beat it into the ground. But like, I want to hear it since we're on the show.
I want to hear what your thoughts are.
What are your predictions? Like, I'll go there. Like, I don't have to. Oh, how excited are you? It's been a while. You've probably beaten on the ground. What are your predictions with your boys?
I'll go quickly. Healthy Aaron Rodgers. We win the AFC East running away. We get to the conference championship. AFC Conference Championship with a healthy Rodgers. All has to stay well because I think Rodgers, Garrett Wilson can be a top 5, top 3 receiver. You have a competition at 2 between Davis and Lazard, which is only a good thing. Breece Hall comes back healthy. They get that line right. If that line protects him, we're going to be good. And Joe Douglas is just getting meat upon meat upon meat right now to get him. That defense is good. Sauce Gardner is the best corner in the NFL. DJ Reed is a top 20 corner in the NFL. As long as they fix the safety position, we're in good shape. That's my prediction with the healthy Rodgers. Unhealthy Rodgers, go to Zach Wilson. Whole lot of the same as last year. Maybe 7 wins if Rodgers isn't healthy. Dave?
Yeah, I generally agree with that. Optimal setting, it's going to be conference. And I mean, maybe even Super Bowl appearance because that team's damn good. But at least on paper. But floor is playoffs. The floor is playoffs.
Wild card at minimum.
Because, I mean, listen, let's say Rodgers gets hurt, even if it's for a small span. We won with Wilson last year. We won games with Wilson last year. We can still win games, even if we have to put Tim Boyle in. So even if we would take some games off of a span and then Rodgers comes back, we still should make the playoffs as a floor for this team. No doubt. So no matter what, it's playoffs. If not, then Salah's gone. And Doug.
Got to be the expectation. Bolt, what do you think? Outside looking at the Jets, what do you think?
I think David the nail on that. I think 4 is playoffs, and we'll see how healthy the team is. I agree with you on that. And they have a good defense. Gardner's fantastic. Clearly don't have to beat that in the ground. It all comes down to Rodgers' health. If he's healthy and their team's remotely healthy, like they're big stars, they're going to be terrifying. So.
Yeah.
I love it. Now, Bolt, before we go, give me a surprise team for the year. Who do you think is going to come out and work and is going to do something that we didn't expect?
I hate to say, I'm not going to take. I kind of just said like the Steelers are a dark horse. So I'm going to go.
Go someone else.
Chicago. I'm going to go Chicago.
Ooh,
had them as my surprise team to make the playoffs. When I
who the hell plays quarterback for them?
Wow,
I hate
hater.
They don't have a quarterback.
I hate you, but yeah, Chicago. I'm sort of threw a dart at the wall. I'm going to look awful as they have 2 wins, but Chicago.
Dave, who do you got?
Oh, I'm not going to lie. I didn't think about this at all. So you go, and I'm think about it.
I think the Saints are going to be good. I think the Saints win that division. Derek Carr is going to come in. He has the best weapons he's had, I think, ever outside of Devontae. Devontae was great, but now he's looking at a healthy Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, who was fantastic. I think Alvin Kamara is going to have a revival. But they also have Jamal Williams back there. We forgot they grabbed him. So even if Kamara sucks, they have Jamal Williams. And defense is underrated over there. They have some good guys. Demario Davis still there. He's getting older, but he's good at corner. Marshawn Lattimore's still good. Adebo's good. So I think the Saints win the division. I think they come out and shock people. And Carr doesn't play healthy. You have famous Jameis. His eyes are fixed, baby. There we go. LASIK Jameis, baby. All right, go ahead, Dave.
You know what? I think I'll stay with the NFC South, and this is a very quick pick, but I'm going to go with the Panthers. I think that defense is damn good, and I think if they can get their offense working to some degree, then the Panthers can perform pretty damn well. So I'm going to go with them.
My last parting shot, hot take. Sam Darnold wins the starting spot over in San Francisco over Brock Purdy. Boom. Anyway, and he does it this offseason. He's game 1 starter. Wow. He's a better quarterback than Brock Purdy. And his head is
Colt's over here holding his head in his hands.
Anyway, they're losing either way. I don't care who's starting week 1. They're losing.
Colton, thank you so much for coming on, brother.
Boys, appreciate it, man. Glad to jump on, and definitely got to do it again.
I love it. Once again, Colton Gesser, he's a producer for CBS Sports Radio. If you listen to The Fan, you will hear him jump on occasionally, get on that mic, talk about it, give his hot takes, some of them extremely cold like we heard today. And, it's always a good time. Cole, anything you want to promote outside of WFAN, CBS Sports Radio?
No,
anything
sir.
Viewers related? No?
Nothing for me, man.
All righty. So, Dave, any last words before we jump out of here?
No. Hope everyone has a good weekend, a good week, and I hope your days are not too hazy like we've had in the East Coast.
Yep. And as for us, we'll be getting out of here. Like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5-star, Spotify and iTunes. Spread this word of mouth. Find us on the socials. Canada, get your shit together. We'll be back next week. So long, y'all.